discuss matters relative to people who are president, vice president, or facilitators, and about things they should know. The first part of this, I'm going to have commentary and just give you a perspective from the advisor's perspective on things that presidents and facilitators will know. And then after the panelists, I'll introduce them, and then they'll give you their perspectives and some experiences. So, first of all, I split up the comments in two different sides. One, we're going to talk about logistics. So if you are a note taker, just consider this the logistics side. The other side is just going to be about certain things you need to be aware of as a leader. So the first thing, logistics, is to make sure that you're in compliance with what Jennifer and I talked about, that you're a registered student organization. That process is a little bit more deliberate than just going to a website. I found so many organizations who think that they're registered because someone told them they were registered, then they went to reserve rooms or what have you, and they were not registered. So make sure that you go through the appropriate steps to be registered, have your advisor or advisors sign off, that you have the appropriate number of officers, their contact information, and all that information is turned in and updated so that you can do what you have to do as an organization. Know the financial shape of your organization. For some reason, people transition out and then they let the treasurer just go off somewhere. And they take the debit card, they take the checkbook, and they take the account information. And everyone's sitting at the first meeting and they make a financial decision. They say, what happened? And, oh, well, she left. She's in Buffalo now. And no one can access this information. Please, make sure you know the financial shape of the organization as you take over leadership, and make sure all of the financial documents have been transferred to whomever is responsible for that task. Do not let the person who was formerly in charge be in charge of that for a whole bunch of reasons. Third thing, practically, make sure that once you're registered, that you already start in the summer getting your meeting rooms. Get your meeting rooms. It's a competitive environment. Like she said, last year we had 655 student organizations. Everyone wants a room. If you don't start in the summer, getting your room is going to find a lot of difficulty, especially if you're talking about weekly or bi-weekly meetings. You want to have consistency. You don't want to say, well, we're meeting in LL building, our first meeting, then you can meet me in Neve Hall, the second building, and then we're going to be at BAC. And you try to tell new members, okay, you want to join? All right, well, in 2 weeks now, we're going to be at West Campus. No, just get the meetings blocked out and try to get them as consistent as possible. Fourth thing, calendar. Come up with, even if you don't have every event, at least come up with a makeshift calendar so that you can start reserving these rooms and also reserving these classrooms. The next thing I want to talk about practically is on your agenda. I'm asking you, as a leader, to have a section on your agenda where the person who is representing you at the coalition level or at the MSS leaders level give their report. That he or she, you say, okay, on your agenda, now we have the report from the MSS leaders meeting, or we have the report from the coalition. Too many times we don't have that as a part of the agenda, and whatever takes place at these coalition levels, we don't get it. And please consider, if you are not this individual, consider having a formal delegate to the coalition meeting. Let's not let this thing be the day before the meeting. We're texting and Facebooking and Twitting trying to find out who we can pass the buck to. Either you're going to say, I as the leadership am going to take this responsibility, or this person is designated, and this person not only is designated to attend, but designated to what? Report. Attend and report. There's two parts of this. Is they're physically showing up there, and we don't know what they're doing while they're there. They can be texting, they can be web browsing, but they're there. And to ensure that they're paying attention, we want them to report. That's the logistics side. The other side, I recommend you guys start early identifying what committees you're going to have as far as your programs, as your events. Spend the summer identifying the committees, making a task list of the committees, and start getting people ready for these major programs you do. Second thing is the science of delegation versus passing the buck. Okay. This is what passing the buck is. Such and such and such must be done. Demetri, do it. And then the day that it needs to be done, I go back to Demetri, did you do it? And she says yes or no. That's passing the buck. The day it needs to be done is a little too late to find out it has or has not been done. Passing the buck is that. Delegation is, Demetri, I need you to do X, Y, Z, and I need to know by such and such date has it been done and how far we are on it. And then at that point, once you have a report back and enough time to make a decision, you know either to follow up on what she's done or you know that that task is taken care of. As leaders, I am strongly recommending that you guys reconsider the passing the buck strategy. It caused a lot of frustration within organizations. It caused a lot of frustration within individuals. It caused you guys to start having these internal conflicts about she or he never does X, Y, Z. Okay? Really have a reporting system. And then lastly, before I introduce our panelists, understand that you as the leaders are supposed to carry the vision of the organization. You have to carry the vision and make sure that the vision is implemented. Your responsibility is to keep the organization on track on why you guys are even coming together anyway, and to make sure you stay on track. And so sometimes you have to recenter yourself. Sometimes you have to monitor your personal relationships with your e-board or members and say, well, yes, I do have a strong allegiance with this individual, but are we about our vision as an organization? That's going to always save you. Any time of conflict or challenge, you go back and say, well, this is why we came together anyway. We didn't come together for what we're talking about. And what we got talking about have to do with this? And that's going to always save you. When we start getting to personality challenges and pointing the finger, it's going to be problematic. And so to speak to these issues on a more practical, everyday level, we have three panelists. First, we have Ms. Demetri Morgan, who's a multicultural, multilingual elementary education major. She's the facilitator of Nations, which is the Native Americans Taking Action on Success. And she's also Miss Indian ASU. Give it up, Miss Indian ASU. And a bit about herself. This is interesting. If you take your notes, she likes to eat her breakfast with ketchup and syrup mixed all together. Okay. So good. Next we have Mr. Lucero. He's a religious studies major. He's the president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP. Interesting tidbit, he plans to obtain a Master's of Divinity from Phillips School of Theology. He's a native Phoenician, and he is an associate pastor of Phillips Memorial CME Church. And our next panelist is Ms. Amanda June. Her major is Nonprofit Leadership and Management. She is representing the American Indian Council. And the interesting thing about her is she loves to go salsa dancing and learn different languages. Give it up. So at this point, I would just like for each one of you guys to take about 3 minutes to give whatever advice you would like to offer to the facilitators / presidents that are coming in. And then at that point, we have question and answer for our remaining few minutes. Okay?
All right. How's everyone doing?
Good.
All right. Well, my name is Demetri Morgan. I'm just gonna go ahead and transfer from not being facilitator of Nations to be Miss Indian ASU. But let me tell you something about my first year of Nations president. My advisor had a family emergency, so I was left kind of without an advisor for about 3 months. And then on top of that, there was a lot of things that I didn't know how to do. So what I would try to suggest is consider your facilitators of the past organizations, ask them questions. Ask them as much questions as possible. And if they don't want to help you, then you need to go either to your advisor, like, okay, the facilitator of last year is not really wanting to help me. What should I do? You know what I mean? It's a good idea to ask those the past e-board members or the current e-board members. Try and get someone to actually help you along the way. The first 2 months of your presidency or your facilitation is really critical. It's gonna help you proceed into the year and also the next year. So that's what word of advice I give you. And on top of that, being a facilitator is a huge aspect. There's going to be students looking at you, there's going to be faculty looking at you, there's going to be staff looking at you.